Michael, you think that I can't answer why Christ supposedly changed the laws on divorce. You say a Jewish man could divorce his wife over something as simple as her laugh, and that Jesus changed that law after the crucifixion. You claim the crucifixion allowed the New Testament to change the law. You say it proves 2,000 years of Christian thinkers correct, and that I cannot give a solid answer. You think it's a solid answer I can't touch? Wanna bet? First off, Jesus didn't change the law after his crucifixion. He fulfilled the law and established a new covenant. His death fulfilled the ceremonial laws, and his teachings fulfilled the moral laws. It was the perfect sacrifice for sins. He even kept the law in death being buried the same day, unlike Roman customs. But let's not get sidetracked by Rome, as much as I want to. Let's get to the main event. Remember when the Pharisees tested Jesus? They asked, "Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife for just any reason?" They were trying to trap him. But he didn't fall for it. He went straight to the original law. He said, "Have you not read that he who made them at the beginning, made them male and female? And said, for this reason a man shall leave his father and mother, and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So then, they are no longer two but one flesh. Therefore what God has joined together, let not man separate." They pushed back, asking, why then did Moses command to give a certificate of divorce? And Jesus' reply is key. Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, permitted you to divorce your wives. But from the beginning it was not so. He then lays it out. And I say to you, whoever divorces his wife, except for sexual immorality, and marries another, commits adultery. See? Christ's law wasn't new at all. The law from Genesis predates the law of Moses in Deuteronomy and is superior. The law of Moses was a concession, not the ideal. God's original plan for marriage, set in Eden, never changed. Divorce was never part of his perfect plan. And Jesus himself said, "Do not think that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy but to fulfill. For assuredly I say to you, till heaven and earth pass away, one jot or one tittle will by no means pass from the law till all is fulfilled." Boom. Right there. No change in the divorce law. No loss of argument. Not completely destroyed. Jesus didn't introduce a new law. He bypassed the Mosaic Law and went straight back to God's original unchanging law. The Mosaic Law was the temporary change for a hard-hearted people. We've talked about this before. When we say we follow the law, we mean God's law, not the ceremonial laws that even the Jewish people can no longer follow without a temple. Think about why Paul talks about the order of Melchizedek, because it was an older, pre-existing priesthood. The Mosaic Law was like baby steps for a people coming out of 400 years of captivity. It was a teaching tool, a shadow of the real thing. The sacrifices themselves proved they couldn't keep the law perfectly. That's why they were needed. The desire to bring them back today shows they still can't, and you missed a crucial part. The law also protected women. Exodus 21 says if a husband took a second wife and neglected the first by reducing her food, clothing, or intimacy, she could just leave. No bill of divorce, just goodbye. God protects his creation. He doesn't expect women to just take abuse. The law in Deuteronomy that Moses permitted was to limit further harm to women in a sinful world where hearts had become hard. Sometimes divorce was the lesser of two evils to prevent something worse. Now let's look at Paul in the New Testament. He commands the married not to separate. But then he says, and this is him speaking, not a direct command from the Lord, if any brother has a wife who does not believe, and she is willing to live with him, let him not divorce her. But if the unbeliever departs, let him depart. A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases. Wait a minute. Paul says if the unbelieving spouse leaves, the believer is not under bondage. Bondage to what? Bondage to the law that says you can't divorce except for adultery? Jesus clarified the original law. He didn't change it. So what's Paul doing here? Let's talk about what "it is finished" really means. The Greek word is tetelestai. It can also mean paid in full. What was paid? The price for our sin. What was finished? The sacrificial system. Hebrews says the blood of bulls and goats could never truly take away sins. They were a placeholder for the ultimate, once and for all sacrifice of Christ. To think his death means the entire law is finished and done with is flawed. He still has to fulfill the prophecies. That's still happening. He said he came to fulfill the law, the prophets, and the Psalms. Have all the end-time prophecies been fulfilled? Did we all miss his return in the clouds with the shout of an archangel? No, that's the final fulfillment. That's where the law passes away. Modern-day Pharisees have convinced us it's all over, pushing away our Jewish brethren and keeping the two houses of Israel split, which itself is a prophecy yet to be fulfilled. Look at Hebrews 7:12. For when the priesthood is changed, the law must be changed as well. It says the law is changed, not abolished. The priesthood changed from the Levitical line to the order of Melchizedek, a priesthood based on grace. So your solid answer is now as flimsy as a spaghetti noodle. You have to look at the big picture, not just one verse. If you're implying we went against the law because we got divorced, well, yes, when we were in sin, but in Christ we are a new creation, reborn. That sin is washed away. That's the beauty of what Jesus has done. Like the woman at the well, I can go in peace and sin no more. Hope you're well.